Hey there, my name is Naresh Wankade, and in this video we are going to install Flutter on Android Studio. So once you have downloaded and installed, you need to start your Android Studio, and as you can see, I can already create a Flutter project because I've installed Flutter. So for that, you need to click on Configure and select Plugins. Now in these plugins, you need to click on Browse Respiratory, and in the search bar, you need to search for Flutter, and you need to install this first option. And after that, in plugins, you need to search for Flutter plugin and install this Flutter plugin and make sure that it is ticked. And once you press OK, your Android Studio will prompt you to restart. And after restarting your Android Studio, you need to click on Start a new Flutter project. And in this, you need to select Flutter application and press Next. Here, you need to provide a project name, and for you, the Flutter SDK path will be empty. So you need to install your Flutter SDK, and in this, you need to provide the directory where you want to install your Flutter SDK and press OK. So after that, your Flutter SDK will install. So after installing your SDK, you need to press Next, and here you need to provide your company domain. And in the platform channel language, you need to make sure you include support for both of this. And once you press finish, Android Studio will create a new Flutter application for you. And that's it. That's how you install Flutter on Android Studio. In this video, we are going to create our very own first Flutter application. So for that, first we need to import a package, which is material.dart package. Now this material library consists of almost all the classes that we need to create a Flutter application, and therefore we always need to import this package. After this, we are going to provide a void main method. Now this method is the first method your program is going to execute while running the application, and in this we need to provide a run app, and this run app takes a widget. So what is a widget? Now everything in Flutter is a widget. So if you want to create a text or image or padding or container, if you want to align a text in center, everything is a widget. So right now we are going to create a text widget. So we will say new text, and we need to provide a string. So we will say this is Flutter application. Actually, this is my first Flutter application. And we also need to provide a text direction, which is text direction.ltr, and LTR stands for left to right. And if we restart our app, as you can see at the top left corner, we have got our output which says this is my first Flutter application. But what if we want this text in center? So for that we need to create a center widget. So we will say new center, and what we want to center is our text. So we will copy the text and paste in center, but this text is a child of center, so we need to provide a child property. And now let's restart our app. Now as you can see, our text has been aligned in center. So that's it. That's how you create a very first application in Flutter. In this video, we are going to create and understand a stateless widget. So stateless widget class is a widget that does not require a mutable state, which means you cannot access the state and therefore you cannot perform and change the state. So in short, we can say that a stateless widget class can be used to create static widgets that does not perform any mutable operations. So to create a stateless widget class in Android, we need to type STLESS and press enter. So it creates a class that extends stateless widget. So let's provide a class name as application, and we will invoke this class in run app. Now here it returns a new container, so we will delete that and we will return a new material app in which we will provide a title property which takes a string. So here we will provide stateless widget. Then we need to create one more property which is home, which takes a widget. So here we will provide a new scaffold. In this scaffold we will provide a property called as body, and this body will have widgets. So what we are going to create is that we are going to create a container inside a container. So in this body, let's create a first container using new container, and in this we will provide a color. Let's say pink. So the first container will have a color pink, and we will add a container inside this container using child property. And we will set the color of second container to yellow, and in the second container we will provide a margin so that we can see the first container, and we will set a margin of 30. So if we restart our app, you can see that we have successfully created two container inside a scaffold. So that's it. That's how you create a two static container in stateless widget. In this video, we are going to create and understand a stateful widget. So a stateful widget, as the name suggests, is a dynamic widget where you can manipulate states, which means if you want to perform certain operation on a widget in Flutter, you need to use a stateful widget. So to create a stateful widget in Android Studio, you need to provide stful, which prompts you an auto completion. In this, we'll provide a class name as application, and we will invoke this class name in run app. So we'll type new application. Now here we will return a new material app which takes a property called as title, and we will provide a string as stateful widget. We will create one more property which is home, which takes a widget. Here we will provide a new scaffold widget. In this scaffold we will provide one more property which is body, and body is a primary property of a scaffold. In this we can provide widget. So in this we are going to create a center widget that will align our button in center. So in this center we will create a new raised button. Now this raised button takes an on pressed property. Right now it's null, and we also need to provide a title to this raised button. So we will create a child. In this we will provide a new text, and we'll provide string as raised button. Now let's restart our app. Now as you can see, we have successfully created a raise button, but it is disabled right now because on pressed is null. The two operations that we are going to perform in stateful is init state and set state. And what operation that we are going to perform on raise button is that we are going on, when we press on the button, we want the title of the button to change. So for that we'll create a string called as title text t text, and here we'll provide it as empty. And now we will create an init state. Now what is init state? So an init state is called during initialization exactly once. So in this we will set t text is equal to, we will type click on this button, and on press we want certain operation to perform. So for that we'll create a method, let's say void method1. In this we will define a set state. Now set state actually notifies the frame that an internal state of an object is being changed. So for that we need to create a set state. In this we need to provide a function, and now what we want is we want the t text title text to change to, let's say, the text is being changed. Now we have successfully created a set state and init state. Now we just need to implement it on pressed. So here it takes a function. Now in this we need to provide a method, so method1. Now let's restart our app. And as you can see, a raised button is enabled because we have provided a method that contains a set state. So but it's not going to work because in this text, in this title, we have not provided the text. So let's restart again. And now if we press on this button, it will change to the set state that we have provided t text. So it will change to the text is being changed. Similarly, let's restart again so to better understand. So what it is doing is it's going for init state first, and then when we click on it, it performs an on pressed where it checks its set state. When the state is being changed, it performs the t text operation. So that's it. That are the two operation of the stateful widget. In this video we are going to create a basic container and understand its properties. So in Android Studio we are going to create a stateless widget. So for that we need to type STLESS, and if we press enter, Android Studio generates a stateless widget class. So now let's provide a class name as application, and after that we need to invoke our class in run app. Now where it says new container, we need to provide a new material app, and in this material app we need to create a property called as home which accepts a widget. So here we are going to provide scaffold, and in this scaffold we need to create one more property which is body property, and this body property takes a widget. So here we are going to provide a container. So before that let me explain you what material app and scaffold is. So consider material app class as a class that provides material design to your application, and scaffold as a basic layout structure for your application. So now in body we are going to create a new container widget. Now this container widget is an empty container. So in this we are going to provide a color. Let's provide a background color as pink. Now let's restart our app. Before that we have got an error which is I think semicolon error. Now let's restart our app again. Now as you can see, the background color of container is pink. After this, we are going to create a child property which accepts a widget, and we need to keep a note that in a container you can create only single child. So in this we are going to create a new text widget, and let's provide a string as this is my container. Oopsie. Now let's restart our app, and you will see that the container will shrink to the size of the text. After this, the next property that we are going to see is the height and width. Now let's provide the height of 300 and width as 300, and this both property takes value as double. After this, the next property that we are going to see is alignment, because we want to align our text in center. So for that we need to create alignment property, and in this we need to type alignment dot center, and this will align our text in center. Now after this we are going to provide some padding to our container. So we need to provide a constant, and we need to say edge inside dot all, and let's provide a double value as 20. So what it will do is it will provide padding all over the side of the container. And now let's restart. Now as you can see that we are not able to see padding. So for that, if we click on Flutter Inspector over here, if we click on our emulator, and if we select the layout structure, now you are able to see that we have got a padding of 20. After this, we are going to provide our next property will be decoration, and in this decoration we need to create a new box decoration widget. Now consider a decoration property as a property that can be used to style a container. So in this we are going to provide a background color property, and we will say colors dot, and let's provide a green color to green background color to the container. So if we restart our app, we will get an error, and let me tell you why. Because a container cannot have two background color. So for that, let's remove one of them, and now let's restart the app again. Now after this, the next property that we are going to see is called transformation. In this we are going to move our container in the z direction. So for that we need to say new matrix 4 dot rotation z, and in this we need to provide a radians which takes a double value. So we will say a value of 0.5, and now let's restart. Now as you can see, a container has been rotated in the z direction. Now after this, the last property that we are going to see is called foreground decoration, which takes a new box decoration widget, and in this box decoration we are going to provide a foreground color. We'll say colors dot, and let's provide a deep orange color. Now the foreground is going to hide the child, and it is also going to hide the properties of decoration. So whatever properties that you are going to provide in a decoration will get hidden by the foreground decoration. So if we restart our app now, we will get a foreground color as orange. In this video we are going to create row and column in Flutter. So as you can see, I've already created a stateless widget. I've already provided APA. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to provide a body property. In this body property, now I'm going to create a new row widget. So I will say new row. Now this row widget has a property called as children. Now as you know, in a container we can only provide one child, but in row and column we can provide multiple childs using a property called as children, which takes a list as a widget. So in this list we are going to provide multiple child. So the child widget that we are going to provide will be a text. So we'll say new text and we will provide a string. And now we will create this text two more times. Now if we restart our app, we must be able to see all the child will be aligned in horizontal order. Now as you can see, they are displayed in horizontal order. This is row, and if you want to create a column, the whole code will be same, just we need to change from row to column. And let's restart our app now, and this will display all the child in vertical order. So that's it. It's very simple to create a row and column, but it gets complex when you want to add a row inside a column. So let's consider that I want to create a column inside a row. So on the second row, I'm going to create a new column using new column widget, and in this I'm going to provide three more child using children property, and the child that I'm going to provide will be a text widget. So I will say this is column. Now let's restart our app, and we might see some alignment issues. So let me explain you what alignment is. So in row and column there are two kinds of alignment, that is main axis alignment and cross axis alignment. So for a row, a main axis alignment is horizontally, and cross axis alignment is vertically. And for the column, the main axis alignment is vertically and the cross axis alignment is horizontally. So as you can see in our output, the column is not aligned in center. So we need to provide a main axis alignment in column, and we will say main axis alignment dot center. Now let's restart our app, and we will see that the column will be aligned in center. Now our row is also not aligned in center, so for that we need to provide a property called as main axis alignment in row, which takes a main axis alignment argument. We will say align it at center. Now let's restart, and as you can see we have successfully aligned both row and column in center. And that's it. That's how you create a simple row and column in Flutter. In this video we are going to create a very simple list. So in body we need to provide a new list view widget. Now consider list view as a body for multiple lists. So in this we will provide a property called as children, which takes a list as a widget. So in this we will provide individual list using a widget called as new list style. So a list style we need to provide title. So we will provide a title which takes a widget as a text, and we will provide a string as item1. and we are going to see one more property called as trailing. Now if you want to add icon or any other widget at the right side of a title, we use a widget property called as trailing. In this I'm going to create an icon. Let's provide arrow forward icon, and we are going to create three lists. So I will copy this and paste two more times, and let's change the title to item 2 and item 3, and let's restart our app. And as you can see, we have successfully created a list, and that's it. That's how you create a simple list in Flutter. In this video we are going to create a list of array. So hypothetically consider that you want to display user data of 50 people. So this can be achieved using this code. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to create a list array. In this we will only consider int, and then we will provide a variable name, let's say items equal to new list. Then we are going to create an init state in which we are going to create a for loop that will store items in the list. So for I equal to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus, and we need to define I, so int I, and in for we are going to say items dot add. We are going to add value. Now in scaffold, in body property, we are going to create a new list view builder. In this we need to focus on two properties, that is item count and item builder. So item count will be items dot length, and item builder takes a function. So in the function we need to provide build context and int index. Now in this we will return a list tile. We will type return new list tile. Let's provide a title to the list. So title is equal to new text. Let's provide a string as item number, and let's provide your index. And we are also going to provide trailing property. Here we will create an icons dot, let's say arrow forward icon, and let's restart our app. And as you can see, we have created 50 list items, and you can scroll up and scroll down, and that's it. That's how you create a list of array in Flutter. Example where you want to overlap a text over an image, or just for sake you want to overlap multiple widgets on each other. So this can be achieved through stack widget. So to implement a stack widget, in scaffold we will provide a body property, and in this we will provide a widget called as stack. Now this stack widget has a property called as children, which accepts list as a widget. So in this we are going to provide multiple child, and the child that we are going to provide is a card. So we are going to provide a total of 5 card widget, and each card widget will have a different color. so that we can properly define them. Red, let's say green, blue, and the last card will be brown. And we will also change the padding. So we'll say 100, 100, 50, 30. Now let's restart our app to better understand what's happening here. So as you can see, the cards are overlapping each other, and the topmost card is at the bottom and the bottom card is at the topmost. So we are going to see one more property, which is the alignment property. So we can align all these multiple widgets in center by alignment.center property. So if we restart our app now, as you can see, they are all aligned in center. So that's it. That's how we overlap multiple card widgets on each other. In this video, we are going to create a grid that will accept an array list of 50. So for that, we need to create a body property in scaffold, and in this we need to provide a widget called as gridView.builder. And in gridView.builder we need to provide three properties that are item count, grid delegate, and item builder. After that, we need to create a list array that accepts only int, and let's provide a variable name as items equal to new list. And then we will create an init state, and in this init state we are going to provide a for loop. Now this for loop will add items into the list. So we will say int I is equal to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus, and in this we will provide item variable list variable dot length, sorry, not length, dot add, and the value will be I. So this will add 50 items into the list. So after this, in item count we need to assign items dot length, and in grid delegate we need to provide a widget which has a very big name. So we will say new silver grid delegate with fixed cross axis count, and this has a property called as cross axis count, which is set to null. So here we will provide 4, and in item builder we will create a function, and this function takes a build context. So we'll type build context, and it takes one more parameter which is int index. And in this we need, in build item builder we need to return a widget. So we will say return new, and we will create a card. So let's provide a color to a card as blue. Then we will create a child, and in this child we will provide padding. And the padding will be of 20. So if we restart our app now, we will be able to see cards that are aligned in grid format, in the format of 4, And that's it. That's how you create a grid that accepts 50 list of array. In this video, we are going to create a basic app bar and understand its properties. So an app bar is made up of 5 important properties, which is leading, title, action, flexible space, and bottom. So in this video, we are going to focus on title property and some other basic properties of app bar. So now let's come to the Android Studio. As you can see, I've already created a scaffold. So in this scaffold, we are going to provide an app bar property, which takes a new app bar widget. Now let's restart our app. And as you can see, we have got an empty app bar with a blue color. So we will change the color of an app bar using an background color property, which takes colors dot green. And now let's restart. Now the color is been changed, but our app bar is missing a title. So we'll provide a title using title property, which takes a widget. So we'll provide a text widget, and a string that we are going to provide will be app bar widget. Now let's restart our app. Now our app bar title has been created, but what if you want to align this title in center? So this can be achieved using a property called as center title, which takes a condition or a boolean condition. So we'll provide a true. After this, the next property that we are going to see is an elevation property. So an elevation property basically controls the shadow of an app bar. So the more the elevation is, the blurrier the shadow gets of an app bar. So let's provide an elevation of 30. And now let's restart our app. Now as you can see, the app bar shadow has been got more blurred. Now after this, the next property that we are going to see is called title spacing. So now let me just restart our app. Now what title spacing does is it provides you spacing from the left side of an app bar. So if I type title spacing and provide a value as 80, and if I restart our app, we will get a margin of 80 from the left side of a title. And the last property that we are going to see is called toolbar opacity. So if you want to provide a full transparent app bar, you need to give value of 0, and if you want to provide full opaque, you need to give value as 1. So right now we will provide half transparent, which is 0.5. and now let's restart. And as you can see, our app bar is called half transparent, and that's it. That is some basic properties of app bar. In this video, we are going to understand and create a leading and action property of an app bar, which are the two important properties. So to create a widget at the left side of a title, we use leading property, and to create a widget at the right side of a title, we use action. Now in action, we can provide multiple childs using children property, and it is aligned towards the right side of an app bar. So now let's execute these two properties in our Android Studio. So as you can see, I have already created a scaffold. So now let's create a new app bar using new app bar widget. And in this, the first property that we are going to see is a leading property. So before that, let's provide a title as, let's say, app bar widget, and now we are going to create a leading property, and in this leading property we are going to provide a widget. So we will provide an icon widget, the new icon, icons dot, and let's give an icon drawer icon. Now let's restart our app, and as you can see we have got icon to the left side of the title. Now let's create the icon at the right side using the property called as actions, which takes a list as a widget. So in this we can provide multiple child. So here we are going to provide two widgets, which will be icon button widget, and in this we are going to perform on pressed operation. So in this icon, let's provide an icon as arrow icon, and the second widget or the second icon button that we will provide will be the close icon. Now let's perform some operation on this icon. So in this scaffold we'll create a body, and in this body we'll provide a text in center, new text, and where it says data, before that we need to provide a string. So in class create a string and provide a variable name as mtext is equal to empty, and copy this mtext and paste where it says data. Now the operation that we want to perform is we want to change the value of mtext, so we will provide a function in onPressed, and in this we will type mtext is equal to, this is arrow icon button. We will copy this onPressed and paste on the second icon button. Now let's restart our app. Now as you can see we have got icons towards the right side of the app bar. So if we press on the icon we should get a text. So right now we are not getting the text because we have not set state. So here we need to provide set state, which takes a function, and in this we will provide mtext. Same goes here. So let me explain you properly. So in this onPressed, what we need to do is we need to provide set state, and in this set state we need to define a function, and now in this function we need to provide our mtext, and we are missing semicolon. I think it's here, it's here. Now let's restart our app. Now as you can see the icon buttons are working. This is arrow icon. Let's change it to this is close icon, and now let's restart. And if we press on close icon, it shows us this is close icon. We press on arrow icon, and that's it. That's how you create leading an action property in an app bar and perform a set state operation. In this video we are going to create a top and bottom tab bar. So to create a top tab bar, we need to use a bottom property of an app bar, and to create a bottom tab bar, we need to use a bottom navigation bar property of a scaffold, and in middle we are going to provide a body that will be a tab bar view. So in Android Studio, as you can see, I have already created a scaffold. So in this scaffold, we are going to provide an app bar, and we are going to say new app bar widget, and in this app bar widget we are going to provide a title as tab bar, and then we are going to create bottom property which will help us to create a top tab bar. So we'll say in this we are going to say new tab bar, and in this we are going to provide two properties, which is controller, and the second property is tabs. Now in controller we are going to provide a tab controller, and in tabs we are going to provide multiple tabs. So we'll say new tab, and in this we are going to provide an icon. So we'll say icon property, new icon widget, icons dot. Let's provide a home icon, and now we need to create two more tab because we are going to provide a total of 3 tab. So copy this, paste, and now we will change the icon of second tab to, let's say, supervisor account, and the third to close. Now as you can see, there is one error, which is controller, because we don't have a tab controller. So let's create a tab controller constructor, and this tab controller constructor will have an object. So we will say t control, and then after this we need to create an init state, and in this init state, before that we need to define void init state, and in this init state we need to initialize our tab controller. So we'll say t controller is equal to new tab controller, and this take two properties, which is length and vsync. So in length we will provide t length, which is our tab bar length, and in vsync we are going to provide this. Now where it says extend state application, we need to provide with single ticketer provider state mixing, and now there is an error, which is semicolon error. Now we want to provide this t control in our controller, so we'll say t control. Now let's restart our app. Now as you can see, we have successfully created top tab bar, but we don't have body to the tab bar. So in scaffold we are going to create a body, and in this body we are going to provide a new tab bar view. Now this tab bar view, consider this tab bar view as a body of different tab. So in this we are going to provide two properties, which is controller, which will be a t control, and the second property is the children property, which accepts a list as a widget. So in this we are going to provide the body of different tab. So for the first body, for the first tab we are going to provide a first body, which is new center, and in this we are going to provide a new text, and the text string will be welcome to home. Now let's create two more children. So we'll copy this and paste, and the second body will be welcome to user account, and the third body of the third tab will be close. Now let's restart, and we will be able to see the body of a tab bar. Now if we press on the user account, it says welcome to user account, Now the last thing missing is the bottom tab bar. So for that we need to create a property in scaffold which is bottom navigation bar. In this we need to define a widget called as new material, and in this we need to provide a color to our tab bar. So we'll say colors dot blue, and in this there is a property called as child, under which we will provide a tab bar. So we'll copy this tab bar and paste in child. Now let's restart our app. And as you can see, we have also created the bottom tab bar and it's working properly. So that's it. That's how you create a top and bottom tab bar in Flutter. As in the last video, we created a custom widget that consists of 5 containers, and we invoke that custom widget in the scaffold body. But what if I want to create one more container? So I can easily add this container at the as a child of the last container, but we are going to create a custom widget method. So we need to provide a widget return type, and let's provide a method name as method custom, and in this what we want to return is one more container. So we'll copy this container, paste here. Now let's change the color to purple, and let's make this method as private. Now let's copy this method and make a child of the last container. Now if we restart our app, you will be able to see one more container, and that's it. That's how you create a custom widget method. In this video we are going to create a custom widget that will consist of 5 containers. Each container will have a different color with a margin of 50. So the first thing we need to do is we need to click on project. In this we need to select a drop down menu and select project. Now in the lib folder, as you can see, there is just one file which is main.dart file. So here we need to create one more file. Let's say custom w. Now this, once the file has been created, here we will provide an import package which is material.dart package, and we will create a stateless widget, and let's provide a class name as custom widgets. In this, now we are going to create our 5 container which will have different color with the margin of 50. So as you can see, we are overriding a build method that takes a return type as widget, so that we can provide a widget in main.dart file. So now in this container we will provide a color, and let's set a color to pink. Now we will create a second container, and let's provide color second container as orange, and in this container we are going to provide a margin edge inside dot all, and we are going to provide a margin of 50. And I will copy this and paste inside. Now as you can see, we have successfully created 5 container. So let's change the color value. The third container will be green, fourth container will be blue, and the fifth container will be yellow. Now we have successfully created a 5 container that will have padding a margin of 50. So in main.dart file, what we need to do is we need to import this file. So we'll type import and we will type the file name, and in scaffold we need to create body, and in this we need to provide the class name, which here is custom widgets. So we will type new custom widgets, and let's restart our app. And as you can see, we have successfully created the output that we needed. So that's it. That's how you create custom widget in Flutter. In this video we are going to create a text field in Flutter. So I've already created a body which has a new column widget in which we are going to create multiple child. So the first child or the first widget that we are going to create is a text field widget. Now let's create a new text field. Now this text field has many different properties, but we are going to focus on only basic three main properties, which are on change, on submit, and some decorations. So on changed, what we want is we want the value of text field to be changed in another text. So let's provide one more text, new text, not text field, actually text, and let's provide a string variable which is ptext. What we want is we want the text value to be in ptext. So in onChange, let's create a function. Now this function takes a string, so let's provide a string txt, and in this let's create a set state. Now this set state, what we want is we want to set the value of txt into ptext. So we will write here ptext is equal to txt, and let's restart our app. Now as you can see, we have successfully created a text field. So if I type any value in the text field, it gets reflected in the text. But what if I want the value of text field to be only changed on submitted? So on submitted, now let's run our app. Now the value will only be submitted only when we press submit. So let's provide a value, let's provide any string and value, and let's press submit. Now as you can see, the value is now reflected in the text. So these are the two properties, action properties. Now the next property that we are going to talk about is the decoration property. Now in decoration, you can provide a label, you can provide a placeholder, and you can provide many things. So the first thing that we are going to create is a placeholder for the text field using new input decoration hint text, which takes a string, and let's provide type something, and let's restart our app. So as you can see, we have successfully created a placeholder. Similarly, you can also provide a label text, which also takes a string. Let's say full name, and as you can see the label has been created. This label can also be styled, and when you press on the text field, the labels goes at the top left corner and the label also gets strings. Similarly, there are many other properties like max length, then max length enforced, keyboard type, which type of keyboard do you want? Do you want a numeric keyboard or you want an alphabetic keyboard, text align, auto correction, and many others. But for right now, this is how you create a basic text field in Flutter. In this video we are going to create button in Flutter. So the two button that we are going to create is a raised button and a flat button. So I've already created a body which has a new column widget. Now in this column, let's create a raised button using new raised. Now this raised button has a property called as on press, using which you can perform action with raised button. Right now it's null, so let's restart our app. As you can see, we have successfully created a button, but it doesn't has a title and it's disabled because of null. Now let's give a title. So let's create a child in which we will provide a new text widget, and let's provide a string as raised button. Now we have successfully added title to the raised button. So let's create a flat button as well, and then we will perform on press. So new flat, it's similar to raised button, but in on a flat button there are no borders. So let's provide a child. Let's copy this and paste here, and let's say as flat. And as you can see, we have successfully created two buttons, but they are disabled. So let's create an on press operation. So I've already created a method and declared a string as key text. So what we will do right now here is this on press takes a function. This on press takes a function. Now this in this function we need to provide this method. So let's call this method as method1, and let's give a parameter. Let's say you pressed raised button. Now let's restart the app, and as you can see our raised button is been enabled. And if I click on the raised button, we will get a message, or we are not getting a message because we have not provided a text that can display the message. So let's provide a new text that will display the message, and let's say p text, and let's restart our app. So if I press, now it will show me you have pressed raise button. Similarly, you can also perform the same action on flat button as well. So that's it. That's how you create a basic button, raise button and flat button in Flutter. Hey there, in this video we are going to create a very basic checkbox widget. So in Android Studio, as you can see, I've already created a center widget in scaffold. So here we are going to provide a new checkbox widget. So we'll say new checkbox, and this checkbox take two properties, which is value and onChanged. So this value property takes a value as boolean, so let's provide you as true. Now let's restart our app. Now once our app has been restarted, we will be able to see checkbox, but it will be disabled, as you can see, because we have not performed any onChanged operation. So for that, in the class we are going to provide a bool variable, let's say cbool, and let's assign a value which will be a default value as false. Now let's assign this cbool to our value property. Now on changed, we are going to perform an operation. So for that, let's create a function, and this on change takes a bool. So you will provide a bool, let's say sb, and in this we are going to perform a set state operation. And in this set state, what we want is, we want the changed value of cb to be assigned to cbool. So for that, we will define cbool is equal to cb. Now also let's print cbool, so to understand which condition it's taking, so we'll say cbool. Now let's restart our app. Before that, we are getting a semicolon error, which is over here. Now let's restart our app, and this time the checkbox will be enabled. So now let's tick our checkbox, and we should get a true condition. So if we press untick again, we will get a false condition, and that's it. That's how you create a simple checkbox in Flutter. In this video, we are going to create a radio button in Flutter. So to add a radio button, let's create a new radio button widget which has three properties. Now let's create two more radio button. Now a radio button is active only when the value is equal to group value. So let's say the value is 1, 2 and 3 for group radio button 1, 2 and 3, and the group value is 5, 6 and 7. So if we run the application, you will see none of the radio button is activated, because the value is not equal to group value. So if I change the group value of radio button 2 to 2, and if I restart, you will see the second radio button will be activated, but they are all disabled because on changed is still not uh, assigned. So for that, let's create a new int variable, let's say r value is equal to 0, and let assign this r value to group value. Now let's create a method, void method, which will have a parameter, let's say value. In this we will create a set state. That set state will have a function. In this, what we want is, we want the changed value of radio button to be set to r value. So r value is equal to, let's say value. Now we have successfully created a method 1. Now in onChanged, we will create a function. Now in this function, it takes int, and let assign a variable as rval. And what we want is, we want to input this value in method 1. So now let assign a semicolon here, not here actually, it's here. Now copy this and let's change 2 and 3. Now in method 1 let's define a print, and we will print R value to better understand what's happening with radio buttons. Now let's restart our app. Now as you can see, all the radio buttons are enabled, but they are not active because their group value is 0 in initial state and the value is 1 2 3, which are not equal. So when I press on this third radio button, you will see the group value is changed to 3. So the third radio button is active. If I press on the first radio button, the first radio button gets active. If I press on second radio button, the second radio button gets active. And this is how you create radio button in Flutter. In this video we are going to create a slider in Flutter. So for that I have already created a body that will align the slider in center. So let's create a slider using new slider. Now in this we need to add 4 properties. The 2 properties are value and on change, and the other 2 properties are min, which takes a double. Let's provide 1.0, and max, that is, let's consider 10.0. Now what is min and max? So min is the least the user can select, and max is the maximum of what the user can select on that slider. And let's provide a value as 5.0, and let's run the app. And as you can see, we have successfully created a slider which has a min value, max value, and the value here is 5. Now the slider is disabled because there is no on change operation performed. So let's do this. Now in this it takes a function. So let's create a function. Now this function takes a double. So let's provide double dval, and we want this dval value to be in a method called as method1 dval. So the value of onChanged will go in method1. So let's create a method1 void method1. This will have a parameter called as value, and we will set stage, and in this we will type d text is equal to value. Now the method value will be inserted into d text, but we have not assigned d text. So let's assign double d text is equal to 0. Let's give a value of 2.0, and the value of d text needs to be displayed. So let's create a text. Let's say new text, and let's provide a d text. So as you can see, it's giving me an error right now, which is the argument type double can't be assigned to a parameter type string. Now the value in the value in the text is a string, but the value that we are providing is double. So for that, let's create a string. In this we will say this is the value or just we will say value, and we will provide the text with $sign. So this is called string interpolation, and let's run the app right now. After performing full restart, you can see that our slider is been provided the value, but why the slider is not moving? Because here we have not provided the text. Now let's restart our app again. So as you can see, our slider has a minimum 1.1 value, the max of 10, and we have given a default of 2. And now we can drag the slider and you can see the value is changing. And that's it. That's how you can create a simple slider in Flutter. Hey there, in this video we are going to create a basic on off switch widget. So for that, in Android Studio I've already created a scaffold. So in this scaffold we need to provide a body property, and in this we are going to create a switch that will be aligned in center. So for that we need to create a center widget in which we need to provide a switch widget. We'll say new switch. Now this switch requires two properties, which is onChanged and value. So for right now, let's provide a value as true, and now let's restart our app. Now after the app has been restarted, we must be able to see switch, but the switch needs to be disabled because we are not performing any onChanged operation. So for that, let's create a boolean variable in a class. So we will say bool as bool, and let's for now define it as false. Now where it says onChanged, we are going to provide a function, and in this function it accepts a bool. So we'll say bool sb. Now what we want is we want the value of sb to be reflected in sbool. So for that we'll provide a setState method, and in this we are going to create a function, and in this function we are going to say sbool is equal to sb, and let's print sbool. So to get understand which boolean condition is being created, so we'll say sbool. Now where it's in value, where it says 2, we need to provide our sbool. Now let's restart our app. Now as you can see, our switch button is been enabled. So if we press on the switch, it will be active and we get a true value. So if we press again, it shows us the false value, and that's it. That's how you create a simple switch in Flutter. In this video we are going to create a basic drawer that will contain a drawer header, a list, and an onTap function that will close the drawer. So create a drawer in scaffold, we need to use a drawer property which takes a new drawer widget. So if we restart our app now, you can see that a drawer icon is being provided by default. So if you press at that icon, we have got an empty drawer. So in this empty drawer we are going to provide a list view. In this we will create a property called as children. In this we are going to provide a style. Let's give a title to a list. which takes a widget, so text, and here we will say page 1, and we are also going to provide trailing, so in which we will provide a new icon widget icon dot. We are going to provide an arrow icon, icons dot arrow forward. We are going to create two more list style. Let's copy and paste. Let this be page 2, and the third list style we are going to say close. Now to perform on tap operation, there is a property in list style called as on tap, which accepts a function. In this we are going to say navigator dot pop context, and if we restart our app, in the drawer we have got three lists, and if we press on close, our drawer will close. Let's change the icon of close to close. Now the next property, or the next widget that we are going to see, is the header. So new user account header. In this we are going three properties. The first property is account name, which takes a widget, so here we will say new text. We will provide the name, my name, type out here, and in email we'll provide a string. Let's say dummy@.com. Now the next property that we are going to see is current account image, which takes a widget, so we are going to provide a new circle avatar. In this we are going to set a background color as color dot, let's say black 26, and we are going to provide a child which will have a text, and we will say M, initial of my name. And the next property that we are going to see in user account drawer is decoration. In this we need to add a new box decoration widget, which we are going to provide color, let's say colors dot, and we will give orange. Now let's start our app. Now if we press on the drawer icon, you can see that we have added a header which consists of a circle avatar, and there is my name and my email, and you can also add other accounts here by a property called as other account pictures, which takes a widget. So in this we will add circle avatar. We'll copy this, paste 2 times. Now let's restart our app. Let's change the now if we click on the icon, you can see we have also got the other account, and that's it. That's how you create a basic drawer. In this video we are going to perform some navigation operation on page 1 and page 2. So for that we need to create and another Dart file. So I have created other page.dart file. In this we need to import package material.dart package, and then we need to create a stateless widget. So st, and let's provide a class name as op. So where it says return new container, we are going to create a scaffold that will consist of body and app bar, and we will provide a title in app bar, text, and let's say app bar for right now. And in body we are going to create a text that will be aligned in center, so new center. In this we will add a text, and for right now we'll say text. Now in this class we will create a final string, and we will name a variable as mtext mtext sorry, and we are going to create an constructor, and in this constructor we will say this dot mtext, and we'll copy this mtext and paste in appa and text as well. Now in main.dart file we need to import the another file, so we will say import other page.dart, and where it says page 1 and page 2 we are going to perform on tap operation, so we will say on tap new. It takes a function, sorry, so we will provide a function. Now this arrow is called as inline function, and it is also called as fat arrow. So in this we will say navigator dot of context dot push new material page route. Now this builder also takes a function, so we will give an inline function, and we will say new op constructor, and in this we will provide a value is page 1, and this builder function we need to provide a build context. Now we will copy this on tab and paste in page 2. We will change it to page 2. Now if we restart our app, we will be able to perform navigation operation on page 1 and page 2. So if we press on page 1, it will show us an app bar and a text with page 1, and if we press on page 2, same as well. So this is how you create routing. In this video we are going to create a basic snack bar widget. So in Android Studio I have already created a stateful widget. So in this stateful widget we are going to provide a scaffold, and that scaffold will have two properties. The first property will be key, and the second property will be body. Now this key will store a scaffold state key, and in body we need to provide a raised button, and in this raised button, now let's assign this raised button in center, so we'll say new center, and in center we'll provide a child that will contain a raised button. Now in this raised button we are going to perform an on pressed operation which will activate the snack bar, but for right now let's provide a title to the raised button, so we'll say child new text, and let's assign a string as activate snack bar. And now in class we are going to create a scaffold state key. So we need to define a final, and we will say global key which will say scaffold state. This means that the global key will only accept scaffold state. And let's provide an object name or a variable name as skey is equal to new global key scaffold state. Now the next thing is we need to provide a method. So we'll say void method 1, and in this method we are going to create a snack bar. So for that we need to define skey, which is a scaffold state dot current state dot show snack bar. Now in this we need to create a snack bar widget. So we'll say new snack bar, which takes a property content as a string, but we need to provide a widget in this. So we'll say new text widget, and in that we need to provide a string. So we will say activated snack bar, and we are getting two errors, which are semicolon here, and another error that we are getting is that we have not provided a key in scaffold. So here we will say skey, and in raise button where it says null on pressed, we need to provide a method name. So in raise button, sorry, on pressed button, what we want is we want to create a function, and in this function we will say method 1. And now let's restart our app. Now as you can see, a raise button is being created successfully. So if I press on this raise button, I will get a snack bar at the bottom, which is a very light message. And that's it. That's how you create a snack bar in Flutter. In this video, we are going to create a very basic alert dialog widget. So in Android Studio, I have already created a stateful widget. And in that stateful widget, I have created a raised button, which has a property called as onPressed, which is set to null for temporary purpose. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to create a method. So we will say void dialog method name. So after that, what we are going to do in this method is we are going to provide an alert dialog box. So for that, we need to create a new property called as show dialog. And in this show dialog, it takes a two property, which is context and child. So in context, we need to type context, and in child, we need to create a new alert dialog. So we'll say new alert dialog, and in this alert dialog, we need to provide three properties, which is title. The second property is content, which is the body of alert box, and the third is action. Now in title, we need to provide a widget. So we'll say new text widget, and let's provide a string as warning. And now in content, we need to provide a text widget, and the content that we are going to provide, let's say that will be you will die if you press on close button. And in action, which takes a list as a widget, and in this we can provide multiple child, but for right now we are going to provide just one child. That will be an icon child, icon button, and in this we will provide a new icon, icons dot, let's provide a close icon, and this actions will be at the bottom right corner of an alert box. and the operation that we are going to perform on close is that we want the alert dialog to close. So for that we need to create a function in onPressed, and in this we need to type navigator.popContext. So this navigator.popContext will close the alert dialog box, and once it is created we need to provide a semicolon, and once this is done we have successfully created an alert dialog box. So now in raised button we need to call our method, so we'll say we need to create a function in which we need to provide a dialog method. Now let's restart our app. Now as you can see, our raised button is been enabled, and if I press on the raised button, I get an alert box which has a title warning, a content that has a message as you will die if you press on close button, and if I press on the close button, now the alert dialog box will close, and that's it. That's how you create a simple basic alert box in Flutter. In this video we are going to create a very basic simple dialog widget. So in Android Studio, as you can see, I have already created a stateful widget, and in this stateful widget I have created a raised button. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to create a simple dialog constructor that has a variable. So we'll say simple dialog, and let's provide a object variable name as sb, and the next thing is we are going to create a method, so we'll say dialog method, and in this dialog method there should be void, void, and in this dialog method we are going to initialize this simple dialog, so we'll say sb is equal to new simple dialog widget, and this simple dialog widget requires two properties, which is title, and the second property is children. Now in title we need to provide a text, and let assign a string as choose from 1, and in this children we need to provide choices. So let me tell you the difference between a simple dialog and an alert box. So in alert box the user only gets the alert box only informs the user, whereas in simple dialog it provides you choices. So to create a choice we need to use a new widget called as simple dialog option, and in this widget we need to provide two properties, which is child and onPress. Now in this child we need to provide a text, so we'll say yes, and for right now in onPress we are going to perform print operation, so it takes a function, and here we are going to say print, and let's provide a what we want to print, that is yes. So this is a single choice, we want to create a multiple choices, so we need to copy this widget and paste two more times, and let the second choice be no, and in third choice we want to close the simple dialog, so we provide close, and to close the simple dialog in onPress we are going to say navigator dot pop context, and this will close the simple dialog, and we are missing semicolon, so where it is, okay, so here we need to provide semicolon. Now after that we have successfully created a simple dialog box, but now we need to display, so we need to provide show dialog. This requires a two properties, which is context and child. So in context we will type context, and in child we need to provide a simple dialog, so we'll say sb. Now we need to invoke this method in the raised button, so where it says on pressed we need to add our dialog method. And now let's restart our app. Now our app has been restarted. So if I press on show simple dialog, I will get a dialog box which has three choices: yes, no, and close. So if I press on yes, as you can see in console it prints yes. If I press on no, it prints no, and if I press on close, it should close the dialog. And that's it. That's how you create a simple dialog box in Flutter.